Assalamu alaikum. Thank you for joining our podcast. Today we have got Mr. Waqar again. Last time we had got a wonderful session with Mr. Waqar, and I came to know a lot about Salalah because of him. Although it's been 13 years in Oman, but it happened that I'd never been to Salalah. And a lot of people think, oh, you've been there for so long and you've never been to Salalah. Salalah is a very integral part of Oman. And for some people, Salalah is Oman. So, I think Mr. Waqar is helping me in filling that knowledge gap. And now I'm pretty excited to visit Salalah during my next trip. So I'm looking forward to that. So thank you so much, Mr. Waqar, for joining us. Today's agenda is to talk about the overall real estate. What is the background, how old it is, what was the ITC project, what government is doing for Omanis in terms of real estate, and what they are doing for the expats. So this is what we're going to talk about today. So if you can start off, and we'll take it from there.
Assalamu alaikum, everybody. Hope you're all good. I think first of all we have to understand that a lot of people who want to invest in real estate sort of look at the Dubai model or the Abu Dhabi model and think that's the norm in the GCC or whatever. This is a very different country. First of all, you understand it's a very small population. It's a conservative country. It doesn't ever want to reach those sort of levels of commercial, whatever you want to call it, in those regions. So you have to look at this is not ever going to be those sort of growth and those sort of saturation and profits as some of the other things. And it's important, this is a rather laid back and a much slower market. It's a much more planned market. They do not want to become what I call a highly commercialized place where it's all just about profit. And this is very important to understand the real estate model. You understand the psyche of the people, the psyche of the government and its people. They want to keep their conservative values. They want to keep the style of life they live, and those value systems they have. They've seen a lot what's going on in the other part of the GCC, and they definitely don't want to do that, and they will go all out not to emulate that in any way. So for those that want to understand the real estate market, it is actually pretty new. I think in the sort of real growth or the entrance of people into the sector, I mean foreign investors, foreign developers, has probably been no more than about 5 years. If you look at the sort of skyline or the new places, they're not much more than that. They're just beginning to happen. Now, the other thing to understand that this country does not allow what we call high rise. There is nothing in Oman that is more than about 10 stories high, and that's to preserve the landscape and the environment and the thing. Of course, that is a challenge in itself, because if you buy a bit of land, you want to get maximum return, so you put a 20-30 tower up. It's not going to happen. This is not that sort of market. Although there is a project called Downtown Al Khawair, which is a Zaha Hadid project, which has been planned for many years, where they will have allocate a small area for this sort of commercial, but I don't think it will ever reach the dizzy heights of Dubai. It may go up to 15 or 20, and I think it's an experimental try to see what happens. So you must see this as a different country in the real estate sector. Here, the opportunities are primarily for the expats that are moving in slowly, the other GCC people that are coming in, and those affluent Omanis that have got businesses and entrepreneurs have made money. The locals in the majority are pretty sort of normal salaried people. They don't have the luxury to invest in expensive real estate. If I look at the average salary, it's probably in the region of 600-700 riyals a month, which equates to about £1,400 at the sort of medium to high end, which is not a lot of money for the average person. So there isn't that sort of disposable income to go crazy into the real estate sector. But despite me saying that, what's happened in the last, now if I go back 1 year or 2 years, we have a number of projects that are beginning to change the landscape. There's a very big project that I'm sure Mohsin you're aware of, Dar Global, the IDA project, which has apparently the Trump golf course on it, and it's about 45 minutes drive from the airport on top of a plateau of hills, which apparently has got luxury villas starting at, I think, £500,000 or 250,000 riyals upwards to £1 million riyals, which is £2 million. So they've had a very successful launch. They've done well, and what I hear, it's really doing really well. Then there is the 𝐼 project, which is a Masjid Al Futtaim project, which is near the airport, totally sold out, very high value. Average villa there is about £1 million, a good one. There are smaller apartments for less. So that's been a very successful project. Now they've opened up another area which is called ITC. IT stands for Integrated Tourism Complex. This is the name given to an area where open to freehold purchase by foreigners. And in there you would have a hotel, resort and residential. They opened another ITC area called the Sultan Haytham City. This is a vast, hundreds of acres of land, which is now selling. It's I think it's been slow to take off, but now it's beginning to attract people because the value started at about 50,000 riyal, which is about £100,000. So as I said, it's been slow, but now slowly you are seeing more and more interesting projects. There's one called 𝐵𝐻𝐻𝐻𝐻, which is the first sustainable city in Oman, which is a very beautiful design, very successful. I think a lot of Europeans and British have bought into it. So every day now I hear that smaller, newer projects are being launched.
How about Salalah? I mean, how is Salalah's real
Salalah
estate market?
is a different ball game. Salalah is a very interesting market. As we alluded to last time, that Salalah is a holiday destination. It's a tourist destination, and it has two tourist profiles that drive the market. One is the Europeans, France, Germany, Switzerland, Poland, who come, in their hundreds of thousands and stay there all year round. The problem with those guys, they stay in the luxury resorts. They don't go out the city. So they're there. But when they come there, they like the country so much that a small percentage decide to live there. And I've met many people who came for a holiday, even from Poland, and said, we loved it so much we moved here. So you've got this European, people that are coming here, local European natives. Then you've got in the Kharif period, you've got the GCC people come, who are obviously very financially, they have a lot of money, they're well off, they're affluent people. So they're the other market. And finally, the American and the American Muslims who were born and bred in America, or the British Muslims that are born and bred in England, UK, are coming here. So you have these sort of segments that are driving up the real estate business. Now, Salalah is unique, and what's really causing it is the climate and the weather, which, of course, in Muscat we hit 51 degrees in the summer, which is very hot, right? But in Salalah it peaks around 29, even in the hottest time of the year. And then when Kharif comes, the temperatures fall to around about 15, 16. And I was there yesterday, and it was raining and misty, and the waterfalls and the lakes are flowing with water. So these climate conditions and the laid back lifestyle and the cheaper lifestyle is driving the real estate market. And now in the last 6 months I've heard that at least 6 ITC projects been announced, which are resort based, that are now being launched for the international expat or the foreign buyers. So Salalah is now the place, and as I've said before, my gut feeling is that will become the commercial centre of Oman because of the port, which is one of the busiest ports in the GCC. It's a very deep port, so all the goods come in from there or are diverted to other parts of the world. The weather is good, and the city is beautiful with turquoise beaches, stunning views and mountains. So there are a number of factors that has now become the default place for a lot of foreigners to live, which of course is affecting the real estate market. And the potential is for, I guess, 3 areas. One, is that people want villas. They want to live in villas where they've got land, they've got areas like that, which is now a lot of demand. People are building villas and selling them. Then, of course, the apartments. Some people from Europe are single, or they're small families, or they're retired. They're looking for apartment villas, apartment buildings. And then some people prefer to stay in these luxury resorts that have got everything in them. And like Havana, you've heard of, is a very successful project. It's sold out. I think there will another phase opening soon. So Salalah, that's what's causing the traffic. And of course, the other thing is that because Salalah is there's a lot of cash that comes in for a few months, that drives a lot of money into the hands of the locals. And it's next to Yemen, and Yemen is a cash economy. So all this brings cash into Salalah, which stimulates the market. So Salalah is a good. I mean, people got to do their own homework and due diligence, but I actually think Salalah, in my opinion, has got a very good potential for real estate.
The port. So you have got this manufacturing happening, and it's a transshipment, one of the most busiest port in that Middle East part, because right in the center of Strait of Hormuz and Bab el-Mandab.
You miss all that, yeah.
Yeah, so you just right in between, and then you have got this tourism for 4 months. So these are the two critical factor for Salalah in order to run the economy.
Yeah.
So what specifically in terms of real estate the country itself is looking for in Salalah? I mean,
the point about the industrial, I think, just to let you understand that it's becoming, there's two industries, I guess. One is there seems to be a lot of manufacturing going on, pharmaceuticals and other things, because of the shipping potential it has. So that's also bringing traffic. And then, of course, the tourism drives it too, because of its thing. The manufacturing is creating a lot of jobs, a lot of investment because of its tariff situation. Yeah. So that's what I mentioned last time, that it's, if you manufacture in Oman, you're tariff free and other trade barriers free to about 120 countries. For example, you can make something in Salalah, your customs and excise is done in Salalah. So if you've made some medicines, you send it to America, there's no customs in America, it's done in so. But now come to the actual specifics. I think, as I said, what it is, if you look at the city of Salalah, it sort of rises, you've got the mountains, and it falls quickly into the beach area. Within in some space of 100 meters, it goes from high hills and mountains right into the sea and so forth. So there's two sort of people that want to either live on the beach, very close to the water, or they want to live in the hills, in the mountains. And each one has its different sort of thing. Obviously, the sea area is expensive. The land is very expensive. You could spend in English, in riyals, maybe 100,000 riyals for 1,000 square meters of land. Sorry, 100,000 riyals for 1,000 square meters towards the beach, and more. If you go up to the mountains, a little bit less. But if typically 600 square meters of land where you can build a villa costs around about 50,000 riyals, which is about 100,000. You probably spend that on building it, let's say another 100,000, so that's 200. And you would probably sell that for about 250, 260, 270, right, in that sense. So there's a good 40-50% more margin if you want to get into the selling side of it. If you want to retain it, you've got a high value, but land is rising very quickly, very fast, almost on a weekly, monthly basis. It's appreciated.
Really?
Yeah, from what I went a few months ago to what I'm now, the same plots have probably gone up by 15% in about 6 months.
Oh,
yeah,
that's a very steep increase.
Yeah, some cases it may not be sustainable, but some cases it might be. But as they open up more and more areas, obviously there's a limited capacity at the moment, and capacity creates high value. So as the capacity it will start to steady out. But you can buy villas there for 200, 300,000 riyals, and you can buy 1 million riyals one. It depends where you live. The key areas for those that want to invest in real estate: Sada, Darez, Taka, Salanut. So these are sort of areas, Al-Qud, These are the sort of areas where there is a lot of demand, both from locally and international people.
Right. So all of them are ITCs?
Now, not all of them ITCs. You know, what it is that there are certain pockets that are ITC, but I would say only about 30% is ITC. The rest is all non-ITC, and that has its own challenges. If you're a small developer, like you're building 1, 2, 3, 4 villas, then it creates a challenge because you cannot buy that land, so you have to do it through a company structure. But you can sell those to the GCC people and other Omanis. So what we're aiming to do is buying the land for the development purposes through a mechanism, an SPV, and then selling it to the locals or the GCC, which we're allowed to. To get into the ITC land is a different ball game. What you don't have is you can't say, look, I want 400 square meters or 1,000 square meters of ITC land. You have to put a proposal to the government that, let's say, I want to a scheme of 400 houses. Now, luckily, then the government has ways of you can acquire that land with zero or very little exchange of money. You don't actually have to physically buy it. They look to bring it in. If you bring investment and you have good financial backing and you have a great scheme, and they see that as inward investment, they will facilitate ways where you don't actually have that sort of upfront cost of buying very expensive land, which could cost me millions and millions of riyals. So that's how you create an ITC area. You have to meet certain conditions, the quality of the build, the town planning, the whole scheme, who it's for. There has to be lots of elements in it. But once you have that, then it's very expensive. It's very profitable. If I look at Hawana, if you bought a villa in Hawana, which is an ITC area, it will cost you, let's say, 300,000 riyals. The same one outside will cost you 100,000 riyals. So, but
3 times.
3 times. But remember, the build cost is the same. They probably got the land, so the developer has minted money, right? He's made lots of money.
Yeah, because the government becomes your partner.
Yes, the government becomes your partner.
And they use this as a vehicle in order to promote Oman.
Exactly.
So that's what they are trying to do.
Yeah.
And plus, they are also doing one thing, that they are focusing on these ITC projects.
Yes.
For example, Sultan Haitham City, and they are facilitating their local Omanis in the same project as well, because now they would like to do a proper planning of the cities, consistent and sustainable, AI powered, all these, the boxes needs to be ticked in order to build anything out there.
Yeah.
Because when you look at the infrastructure of Oman, when you go to the inside roads, then you realize that it's not very well built in terms of the infrastructure which we have got in UK. The footpaths and the roads and everything, and it's not there.
Yeah.
But now there's too much focus on urban planning.
Oh, it's taking it to another level. You're right. I mean, look, obviously the road infrastructure in Oman is second to none. I don't think any country's got such a beautiful road infrastructure.
Eighth ranking in the world.
Oh, top. It's the best road system, beautiful, high quality. Even the smallest village has a 2-lane road motorway that goes to it. If a good example is where they're going is the YETI, YITI, YETI project. It's called the Sustainable City. It's near a place called Gantab, which is about 30 minutes from the airport. Look at that project, and it's mind blowing. It's so well thought out. Like you said, every amenity, the footpaths, this, that, and the other. No electricity bills because it's solar powered. Everything is walkable. There's electricity. There's this, that. Electric cars and electric vehicles. So look, I think the past is no longer or what is going to be happening in the future. They're like leapfrogging. That's why these sort of ITC projects, if you come up with an amazing concept which takes this country to another level, you'll get approval.
And as you said, leapfrogging. So it's not, because the time has gone for moving it, at a slower pace. Because it may be 15 years ago or 20 years ago. But right now, because all these GCC states are competing for the same kind of people, they'll have to level up. And if they do not level up with all this urban planning and facilitation for the international investors, plus the environment, plus how to set up companies and stuff, they're going to be left behind. So it is a very healthy competition happening in the whole of GCC, and it's good for the investors and for the customers as well, and users as well. Because now you have got a lot more options available in the market. Otherwise, used to be only one, right? Like, Dubai. Oh, okay, if you want to invest somewhere, there's the only place in Middle East which is Dubai. But now Dubai is not the only place, and now all of these places are trying hard to copy that model, but at a very different level, because they have got their own challenges and they have got their own opportunities, but they are closely monitoring that. And last week only, Kuwait announced for reforms.
Yeah.
So last one on the to the party, but they have announced it. And now Oman announced this 10-year long golden visa, moving from 500,000 Oman Riyal to 200,000. So 60% discount
in one swoop.
In one swoop.
They've got a different. They're aiming at a different set of group of people. They're really going for those that are conservative, value-based, very Islam orientated, very halal type of living. That's why I call this country sort of a halal living country, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, you can feel that, when you are there, that everything is pure. No, good stuff. Good stuff. Okay, you mentioned there are around 5 to 6 projects, ITC projects. So would like to know a little bit more about these projects.
Yeah, they're all by some very big people. One of them is an Abu Dhabi group this is, I think, is big news, because the first time the Emiratis are investing vast amounts of money into Salalah. They've not really put much money into Oman or Muscat, but here this is their biggest project. So you've got the level of these big Emirati developers right down to independent, smaller developers from different parts of the world. So they're all, to be honest, they're all pretty similar. I don't think there's anything like wow, right? This is so impressive. They're simply good quality resorts that are coming, and the range of prices are from 200,000 riyals upwards, right? But they're all at the moment all beachfront. They're all on the beach, because obviously that's the preferred place for people. So there is so many. Even if you just Google Salalah real estate development project, you'll see they'll all come up, and there are so many of them that are there.
Yeah, because I heard, maybe I'm wrong over here, that Sultan Haytham is a very close friend of the president of UAE, and money coming straight from Abu Dhabi. It's a very important news, because Abu Dhabi itself is also diversifying its economy, bringing Disney World into Yas Island. They are also working on this financial. It's not a capital, but just like DIFC in Dubai, they have got this Abu Dhabi Global Markets, ADGM. So Abu Dhabi itself is very busy in diversifying, and they are now investing in Salalah, not in Muscat. I think it's a very important news
That's
to follow.
That's a good pointer.
Yeah, it's absolutely, because right now you need to understand their challenges and how they are trying to capitalize the opportunities, because now all the GCC countries are looking for opportunities here and there as well. So they're not only investing within their own territories, but they are considering GCC just like the EU of Middle East, which is such a great thing, because the more you unite, the better you serve. So it would gonna help.
I think what
everyone.
it is, Salalah is probably unique in the GCC. There is no other place anywhere in the GCC. So it's absolutely unique, and it's unmatchable in its environment, its temperature, its beauty. So they're saying that they want to be a part of that action now, don't they? Because they don't have anything like that. They have no comparison to it. So they're seeing that so many hundreds of thousands of tourists are going there, primarily from Saudi, Bahrain, Qatar, and Kuwait, and Emirates. So they're thinking, you know what? Let's get a piece of the action. And they're not silly. They know what they're doing.
And purely to watch the nature in play.
Yeah,
That's it. That's it. There's no fabricated entertainment area, nothing.
No.
It's just a pure nature which is attracting all these people. It's just a matter of how to capitalize this opportunity by creating all these resorts and the shopping areas and stuff like that.
Yeah, they're building aqua parks and theme parks and malls, but not at the level that you have in Dubai. I mean, these are like only a shadow of what they have out there, but it's slowly moving.
No. I mean, this is such a great news which is coming out of Salalah, which is the second largest city of Oman.
Yeah.
And always when we talked about the rest of the Oman, Salalah is a very critical part of it. But because there was no big business activity as compared to Muscat, because the headquarters is there, it's always been overshadowed. It's always been, it's all about going there for 4 months and then just forget about it. Or going there for a few months and just forget about it. But we are not, I think, not understanding the real opportunity. 4 months is like 12 months. 4 months has got that much potential, which can cover the whole year. So that is what it is. So it's not about looking at it from the quantity point of view. You just need to look at it from the quality point of view. Okay, I've got a question. When you decide to move to Oman and you selected Salalah in order to start off your business, you must have done the comparison between Muscat and Salalah in terms of pricing. So how much different is the pricing? As a businessman, I'm talking about, not as an end customer.
That's a very, very good question, Mohsin. That's a really good question, and it's I'm not going to avoid it, but it's a complicated question because in some ways Muscat is still a little bit more expensive, right? If you look at the value of land, and then of course land value determines the property price of it. That's how it works. You're only paying for your land. It is a little bit more expensive, let's say up to sort of now, right? It's been like that. Salalah has always been a little bit cheaper, maybe 20% cheaper in some cases. But that isn't sort of the key factor of what it is. It's the fact that the activity of sales is slower in Salalah. So if you build a villa, let's say, for selling purpose, it might take you 6 to 9 months to sell it. Yeah. And the cost or whatever it is. Now in Salalah, first of all, the build cost is a little bit cheaper because labor and materials are cheaper here because they don't be shipped up. So you have that cost of actually the materials. Land is a little bit cheaper, but what makes it interesting, the actual sales value in some case is higher than Muscat. So it's a quirk that is very hard to explain, and I'm not saying it's actually written in stone, but there are some dynamics, and it was these 3 things that we spent 6 months really researching the market and found, look, it is there, and to make money you need to do lots of big projects. You're not going to make much money on doing 2 or 3 villas, and then you need hundreds of millions of pounds, and we're not in that sort of level, obviously. So Muscat is good if you're coming in as a small developer, niche developer, to put your toe in the water, test the market, and it works. And the sales cycle, to be very honest, in some areas it's in a matter of, you put the house on, in a month it'll be gone. So the sales cycle is quicker. So, you to de-risk everything, this is probably a better place.
Very interesting insight. Because a lot of people are looking at Oman, and when they want to look at it, they would like to move, and moving is connected with doing some business.
Yeah, of course.
So and unless until you know that place, you've been there, you talk to people or the people who have done that, I think having that insight from them is very, very important.
You've got to do your homework. Take your time.
Of course. And I'm telling a lot of people who are moving from the Western world that, Oman is a hidden gem. Okay, so there are certain things which will surprise you, and there's certain things which will disappoint you. But the thing is, you shouldn't be disappointed. This is an opportunity, which is basically you need to look at. You need to change the lens in terms of disappointment and say, oh, if there is a problem there, it means there's an opportunity there. And then you can change that and make it better. So, because in the Western world, there's certain things which have all been sorted out, right? So it's been, they've been there, done that, and now they're in a very different cycle. This place is like first time ever opened up to the world, and they are trying to become a very important part of the future, but they cannot do it without your help.
No.
So the expectation needs to be very, very clear that okay, there are certain things which are amazing about Oman, but there are certain things which you might find very, very odd. But in oddness there is opportunity. You cannot find everything good in order to say, oh everything is good. It's not a heaven. It's the end of the day. So you need to look at it from that point.
I think what you said is the key there, Mohsin. You really strike the note there that most people see problems as problems, but people that have an entrepreneurial or a positive mindset see every failure or not so good or a problem or a challenge as an opportunity. And I think this what makes this country such a great place, because at every aspect this is a sort of 5-star country with 2 or 3-star service. There lies the opportunity, because if you can come in, whatever you do, and if we talk about real estate, is to build good, build high quality, build smart design, build smart villas, all that, then that opportunity, that challenge is an opportunity for you. That not great construction and villas, is your opportunity. So yeah, you're absolutely right. Look at it as an opportunity.
I mean, when you roam around these real estate projects, when you go to Al Moj and go to Ida and all of these places, the one thing which is very good, that at least they have got the appreciation for good quality. So they know what the good quality look like, because obviously they are part of the GCC and Dubai is not very far away. So this is an amazing thing, because if they do not have that appreciation of quality, whatever quality you try to bring in, they think, oh, it's not that good. So which is also good, because otherwise from your angle you're going to bring a lot of quality there, but if there is no appreciation of that quality, then why you want to do that?
Yeah.
So they experienced it, they know that, and now the customer wants it, but not everybody can provide that. Now it's your duty to come and provide that quality to these people.
If I look at the designs of villas, right, now, because they've seen the new Western straight lines, big glass windows coming in, the old style, which was 2 years old, small windows, concrete look, is all going out the window. And the young and those with money, not just young, saying, I want that one. I love that modern, beautiful, sort of French Riviera type of, and sort of beautiful continental type of look. So yeah, and they want it, and they'll pay any price for it.
Internet has been invented, so the expectations are above the roof.
Yeah.
And now the AI is developing such an amazing design that people say, oh, I want that. I want that. Can you build me a custom villa? Okay, while we're talking about the custom villas, can you tell us a little more about what actually you are doing, and how you're building these custom villas, and what value you're trying to give it to your customers?
Yeah, sure. What it is, we're actually involved in a couple of projects, but the key one is that we've identified an opportunity when we were talking to potential buyers, because it's always good to talk to buyers before you start to build. You shouldn't build, you should first who is your customer. Know your customer. What do they want? What are their money? What are their lifestyle, and all that sort of stuff, rather than just say, look, let's build and then worry about selling it, right? So I think what we did our homework, and we spoke to a lot of the sort of primarily the GCC people and the well-off people in Oman, and what it is, they want to have exclusivity, they want privacy, they want a sort of very secluded, private type of environment, which they don't get in the city. 90% of the assets, so if you have a 600 square meter plot, you actually build on 550 square meters. It's like wall to wall. You don't, like in England and Europe, we have a garden, we have a house, this sort of, here that trend didn't exist. So all the houses are built on the full plot of the land, primarily. But what these guys were looking for, they were looking for houses that had this sort of more garden area and set back a bit and more for the kids and the family to play with. So we came up with a concept that's obviously popular in other countries, like a farmhouse. So the idea is that you have around 2,000 square meter a plot of land, which is very highly plant plantation, mango, coconut, banana, all these things that thrive in that sort of humid and wet climate. So as you come in, you see these like a beautiful landscaped, trees and everything, and then at the end sits a very sort of beautiful modern villa. So this is new to here, and I was surprised there was nothing like it as much as we looked. So we tested the concept with some people, and they said, "Yeah, I love this. It's private. I put my family. They're safe. There's no. I mean, obviously it's a safe country anyway, but it's just what I want. I want everything there for me. The pool will be there. The big banana trees, the coconut trees will be there. I'm sort of in the environment of the country. So that's our concept in a nutshell. I mean, not rocket science. It's just something that appeals to those sort of people who want privacy, exclusivity, and that sort of thing, that they've got their own place, their own sort of garden or part of Salalah in their house.
I think now we don't need that rocket science approach. What we need to go back to the nature.
Yes.
Because the God has been, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has designed us to be part of the nature. So the more closer to the nature we are, the better quality of life we have got. That's how the whole nature works. So I think you've already done that in terms of these localized vegetation, trees, and environment.
What we've done also is that the trees and the things that will be fruit-bearing trees that will create fruit and products that can be sold. So then it becomes a little bit of self-sufficiency, and we've calculated they can make about £6,000 or 3,000 riyals a year just from the produce. And of course, with that sort of area, you can have some, livestock like chickens and so forth that becomes sustainable. So we're trying to create a little micro sustainability. Because, look, food security is a big issue everywhere in the world. At least if you've got your lettuce or your cucumbers or your cabbage growing in your garden, you're okay.
That is really, really important because in Oman, this sustainability is a very key agenda. If you look at this Oman 2040 vision, whatever they are doing, they are incorporating sustainability everywhere. And which is like, I think they have already committed to UN that it would be carbon free by 2050. So net zero. So basically you are now helping Oman in order to become sustainable. And so that is really great. So in our next podcast, we will go a little more deeper in terms of whatever you have designed, and we can open up some pictures. We can go into little details in terms of sizes, the comparisons as well, because I think that would really help us in understanding that what sort of a product is becoming popular or has got the potential in that market. Because the more people know about the local market and the people, the more it will become easier for them to move to Oman.
No, absolutely.
So thank you.
And also, we need to there's got to be some revenue stream for them, income, what they're going to do. So next time we can look at some of the opportunities to create businesses or earn money and earn a living, which is important because you need income.
Of course. I think we talked about it after the last podcast that we need to do a specific one on
business,
entrepreneurship. And entrepreneurship coming from people, coming from the Western world. What they can bring, because there are certain strengths. But they have got certain weaknesses as well, because they do not understand the local culture. So
you're right.
You can help all of them filling that gap.
Absolutely.
And then we can go into that. That's great. Thank you so much, Mr. Waqar. It's been a pleasure talking to you again. I'm really happy that I'm getting this knowledge about Salalah, because somehow I think it was my guilt that I've never been to Salalah, and you're trying to help me in,
Yeah.
removing that guilt slowly and gradually, which
Good.
is really, really good.
Good.
So thank you so much.
Thank you.
And
it's a pleasure.
we'll continue.
Thank you.
Pleasure. Thank you so much.
Assalamu
Assalamu alaikum.